bad. I didn't think they did all too well there, as Inara instantly banned as well. Surprisingly, he seems to play against it. Maybe it's just me who thinks it's a bit of a bait, but we move.
Swap it. There's a swap. There's a swap. Don't worry. This is gonna be a swap. Nord is on blue. LR is on red. Don't worry. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Trouble. You're muted. Trouble.
It's never the NLC.
Take a print.
Yes.
Chat, take a print of your prediction right now, and then I'll see that.
It's been 84 years. It's been 84 years. Okay. I'll tell you the positives. Not all 3 top lane champions can be banned. Poppy, Gwen, Rumble, one of those will be set free. Poppy will not be the one, but one of the 2 AP top lane champions could potentially just slip through and get B1 for Chachi.
Okay. Maybe the Rumble is the one that goes through.
Ban the Crackers here. You have to. I'm looking for Nord side here. You kind of have to ban the Crackers. Surely, in the best of 3, you don't let them play Cyan and Crackers back to back. I feel like it would be a bold bet, but instead they ban the Galio. I'm shaking my head a bit. Nord, what are we doing with these bans, man? Surely the Crackers should be on that ban book as the Rumble now gets taken away. So, Trouble, you mentioned 3. It should be the Gwen now.
I'm not sure if Nord actually wants to be one the Gwen here, because we know that Baus doesn't play it. Yeah, so maybe they've got like a different thing in mind. I like this much more from Jankos. Pick something that's like S tier, kind of same like Pantheon, that can brawl, that can fist fight. Very similar to how they did with the Trundle earlier on. Again, guys, Nord on blue, LR on red, so the names will swap eventually. That is picked for Jankos over on the blue side.
I believe there's a way, if they allow the Gwen to go through, Baus will be like, I'll just pick the Kleds. Keep in mind, he really likes that one. We've seen wait, okay, I was gonna say Valia is the one that plays this. Yeah, it's swapped. There you go. Valia likes this Viego, but you kind of have to be squishy. So this is an alert for Nord to pick a little bit more tankier, no?
Slant on your mid-jungle rotation. I mean, I can see that, right? The Asir is taken away, you played the Syndra, then what does Nemesis go to? The Yari makes sense. I think they've got a strong 2v2, good pick potential. I like it.
I'm actually not a big fan of the Viego. Like, at all. I feel like it loses to a lot of the brawly kind of champions. And it is very specific things to shine during fights, which is making sure that this Viego gets at least 1 reset. However, now you've got 2 reset champions with the Ahri as well to follow through. So I'm a really big fan of this. Cho'Gath actually is going to be locked in over on the top of the map. I wouldn't be surprised to even see something like a Gragas even potentially come through for Baus as a response.
Okay. And if you bring the Zed, Valia loves to play the Zed. We lost her! Chat! I told you to not eat the wires of Trouble! Okay, he's back. She's back. Okay.
I clicked accidentally.
Okay, so the Talia being active for Sparrow, he's 6-1 it this year in competitive. I think it's a strong pick. A bit disappointed not seeing the Gwen think. I mean, you're on blue side, so you have to pick the top laner first, but then Jack's locked in. That means the top's locked in now for Baus as well, so he doesn't even actually play the Gragas. And the Jax, obviously good movement, able to dodge away from the Qs from Cho'Gath. Makes a lot of sense to me, as the AD carry and support pool will now be trimmed.
Yeah, sorry guys, my wires were eaten, so my camera could not connect to my computer, unfortunately. Now, I am loving this Talia right here. Not only is it Zveros' best champion by far, but it's also a kind of champion that wants to bleed into the side lane. I'm looking at Cho'Gath right there, and I'm like, this guy doesn't need any help. This guy's just going to scale on its own. Play for bot lane. I think Crowny run the game together with REKKLES in the previous one. So make sure that you get a very, very strong matchup over on the bottom of the map, something that Zvero can actually influence and get hit on treats ahead.
Zvero so far undefeated on this season with this Talia specifically. We talked about it on the pre-show, so keep your eyes on what he's able to do with this Talia. Now onto the second phase of the bans, taking away another one of those from REKKLES that he really enjoys. But what about the Alistar? It's still available. He loves it. You need a few more bodies now to help on the LR. You have like Viego to go in, the Jax, but they're kind of squishy, especially with that build from Baus we know about. He deals damage, but squishy.
I mean, give me anything but a Brom. Please, Alar, do not fall into the Brom trap. I know it's cool, and I know the level 1s are really strong on this chart, but I just want a raw engage to come through. The Rels, the Leonas, the Nautilus, anything from REKKLES. Thank you, Nord. I appreciate that. They just made completely sure that this is not going to happen. Also treats, again, an engage support kind of guy himself. Obviously, you want to ban the Brom versus that. But if Alar lock in something like the Kaiser right here, this is a pure all-in type of composition, and I would love to see the exact opposite from Nord. Just play something like a Corki, maybe on the bot side of the map, try to counter the Kaiser and push out that lane.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the Kaiser being locked in, I have two supports in my head right now on the meta, the Alistar and the Rel. I think both would work very well for the side of LR. One will obviously be taken by Nord. They instantly slam it down. Rakan obviously not available with Fearless, so Saya, Alistar, I expect the Rel here. Anything else would surprise me, honestly.
Saya also pretty OG counter to Kai'Sa with the feathers, very short AD carry range on the side of Kai'Sa, so you can still bully that out. Again, I'm looking to see how Zverer is going to impact the map now that Chachi is more of on a passive, if you want, matchup over on the top side of the map. And oh god, please!
The famous JANNA from REKKLES. Tell me, Trevor, be honest, be honest. We don't lie, we don't lie, we don't lie.
It's a full all-in team! It's a full all-in team and you're engaged and
Anti-dive, we've got the Zaya and the Crescent Guards and the Unraveled Earth and all those things, which could make Lost Returns' very heavy dive and kill first target comp a little tricky. Both me and you were a bit wondering about the JANNA, right? We're saying, well, they might lock it in for lane pro, but does it add that much to the comp?
So I think in the mid-game, maybe in situations where, you know, if Nord survived the initial dive and they're looking to kind of turn and re-engage, that's where JANNA can maybe find some value. But generally, in terms of achieving those first kills, it's going to be a little bit difficult, right? You're looking at really trying to chase down some of the melees at most. But certainly, I think the main point of this JANNA pick is just the lane, right? Yeah. Trying to get Crowny through this 2v2, I think is going to be very, very important, just because he is the main source of DPS. Bals is going to go towards the AP Jax, almost certainly.
Of course he is.
We'll see. But, like, hey, look, we've got him building a Doran's shield, so, you know, that is something.
That's a step. That's a step up. Well done. Well done. You know, on the other hand, Chachi's gone for the Dark Seal.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of honestly. Sometimes if you're playing an AP champ and you're playing into Sion blind, and you just get the vibe that Sion might do the funny like death thing a lot, you tend to just go Dark Seal first. Yeah, the stacks. You know, it's very quick. I mean, your brother will tell you the Dark Seal and obviously Magi has become very stat efficient items quickly once they get these stacks online. But away from that,
what the breakpoint is, by the way? How much extra gold in stats you get at full stacks of Dark Seal? How much extra gold in stats it is? I can't remember how much AP it gives you. Otherwise, I'll probably be able to tell you. To be fair, so I can't remember what it is at max stacks. 700 gold. So you get 700 gold worth of stats from it at max stack, at max rank, so which is pretty damn good. Yeah, something like 40. Ooh, I forget the exact. I should know this. I play a lot of Dark Seal champions, but hey, here we are. I know it's 700 gold, so that's the number I have for you. And I'm going to believe it's correct until otherwise told.
Yeah, we'll leave that there. For the time being...
Probably safer.
Yeah, we've got Veli actually pathing down towards his bottom side, so expecting priority out of the bottom lane. And again, Jankos pathing to top. So we'll be leaving his bottom side 2v2 on a little bit of an island. I think if you're looking to try and secure that Scuttle Crab in a game like this, and when the lanes are the way they are, that does a lot of sense. As Chachi will certainly get a nice trade and actually gets Hail of Blades procced in the middle of that trade there. So a little bit meatier for Baus on the back end.
Of course, bot side, trying to find as much value as they can. We'll note that Treat's gone towards the Glacial Augment. Don't see that very often in the Alistar at the minute. It tends to be things like the Spellbook or the Aftershock. Looking to find some ways to slow down a very mobile team from Lost Returns is one of the frontliners here, and I think especially when they have locked in this JANNA, which is going to give them that lane prio, and just in general, right, we're seeing good shove from Chachi and Zvairo on that top side of the map, but it does mean that LR really rely on their bot lane to get as much prio as they can to give Velia a place to work with.
Yeah, exactly. Early game, I think, is going to be a lot about the side lanes and how the junglers impact those. But as I say that, you have to remember, we do have Ahri and Talia in the mid lane, so first move out of mid is going to be super impactful. Of course, Zvairo having the Weaver's Wall to just kind of cheat half a wave or so. It's not quite as long range as Twisted Fate Ornament, but of course, a lot of work can get done there, and Nemesis would just like to be able to get involved in skirmishes, and especially once you hit that level 6 mark, getting resets so powerful early on.
Nice trade there from NORD. Tree's still got his full complement of restoration items in his inventory. Not the case for Rekkless right now, but of course I'll also note that Crowny and Rekkless have a lot more mana to work with, whereas poor old Hido has burned through a lot to try and wave clear where and when he can, because again, you are the sole range champion trying to clear the wave as best you can with that turret.
Exactly. Velia just running straight back to his topside camp, so he'll do is clear his raptors, clear the Krugs, and then look for a reset. Gives you an 1100 buy, so depending on what item Velia is going first, as Chachi is flashing forward.
Speaking of first, might just go for first blood. Val's gonna flash away to safety, but my days, Chachi was looking for it. Reminder, last game as well, he was getting solo kills then as well. Couldn't convert it on the Renekton, but early on it was looking very nasty.
That it was looking very threatening, and whilst I feel like Cho'Gath in this game is not necessarily as big a threat, overall, the knock-up, the silence, these are very crucial tools at preventing snowballing team fights, you know, stopping things in their tracks. Very, very useful.
Can't counter-strike a feast. You go in, you put your counter-strike on, and Chachi says, cool, I do this instead, and it can be a little obnoxious. We'll start throwing out some of those Vorpal spikes that Hail of Blade is talking about. Yeah, that's kind of annoying.
Yeah, Baus is he's going to catch some of the wave, he's not going to get all of it. Okay, he managed to get that second melee minion. The problem is Chachi's right here.
Yeah.
And the knock-up connected, so he's dead.
Yeah, and he's got Twisted Terror as well. I don't know about that one, Bousy. Well, there's the Dark Seal stacks we were talking about. Jankos about to find Velia. Audacious Charge. Weaver's Wall coming on down. Speaking of faster roams, Velia immediately flashes and gets into the Harrowed Path, so should be safe for now. But that's a summoner blown there. Jankos now looking for a potential angle down towards the spot side. The Zephyr comes on through from Forecast Janna, who says, slightly sad rain cloud.
Yeah, quite surprised about how Jankos played that one, but it was Velia who placed the ward in the bush, so just kind of decided to immediately press all of his buttons, see if Zyro could close the gap with that Weaver's Wall. Wasn't able to in the end. That will be an ultimate blown. Went back to base, teleported back to mid, and Nemesis is now going to look to do the same thing. No Dragon take immediately, starting up like we kind of got in game number 1. Velia is still here on the bottom side of the map, though. And we'll see if he decides to prioritize that. Though, as I talk about it, Crowny and Rekkless looking for a reset. We'll see if they rotate up towards this top side, try and make things a little bit funky.
Another good rupture there. Level 6 to level 6. Could potentially see a Grandmasters might trade out for a feast at some point, but Chachi, just being as obnoxious as he can be, Baus waiting on cooldowns. Good rupture into those Vorpal spikes. Cancels one of them. Should still get the Hail of Blades last proc off here, I think. Nope, not quite in range. And Baus is swift enough on the retreat there not to eat more damage.
There's that dragon we were talking about. Will get started up and be very happily secured by Velia. Jankos might end up taking a camp on the top side as Baus swing and a miss on the ultimate and the E there. Nemesis is going to place a ward, so he knows that Jankos is on this camp. Velia is trying to beeline across to it. See if anything can come of it, but I doubt. Yeah, exactly. I doubt he will.
So it's going to be just the single camp trade in for that Dragon. There we go. Took me a second to remember what that big old neutral objective on the bot side of the map was called. You wouldn't guess I've been casting for a few years at this point, but Jankos looking to continue to punish it. He's going for that invade. Knock up on the other side though with the Howling Gale into the Zephyr trade. Crowny potentially going to get a big jump with Velia down to 20% HP. Knocked up on the free Talon Strike. Crescent Guard comes on through and Jankos gets the solo.
Really, really solid from Jankos. Flash blown earlier from that attempted pickup and able to find him in his own jungle and continues to go through this topside quadrant on the cross map. That's going to feel really bad in isolation. You can take a look at the XP, and whilst jungle XP can very quickly snowball back to even, Jankos for the time being is going to have over a level lead. Once he completes this red buff, should tick over to level 7. And he's going to have the grubs to potentially eye up as well, or maybe he'll look to go and reset. He should have a fair amount of gold set in his back pocket as well.
Keep our eyes on it, and again we saw a lot of that last game as well. Good early leads that all started falling apart as a charm from Nemesis onto Zyro gets a fair amount of damage. Shove across the unraveled earth. He's going to throw down that Spirit Rush. Still got hit by that Wind Becomes Lightning. Jankos doesn't have an Audacious Charge to follow up with, so Nemesis gets out alive and in one piece, but that'll still be the ult down there.
Yeah, both these mid laners are going to need to take a reset. Nemesis chunked out on health. Zyro is out of mana. See who is able to get that one off first. Nemesis does see Zyro. Is he going to let him go? He doesn't want him. We'll send out that charm. I wonder if Zyro could have gone away on the last frame there. Certainly close, but I didn't want to risk tanking the full trade.
That could have been pretty ugly. Trying to read the potential hop over the wall. Won't land it rupture as Baus sidesteps to the other side and gets to keep walking away. Chachi not going towards anything resembling full AP. We saw the Dark Seal and wondered a little bit, but it will be the Balmy Cinder and the Spectre Scowl, so likely going towards the Hollow Radiance, if I had to guess.
Yeah, okay, now, I think Nord need to try and get onto these grubs ASAP. They are pathing over towards it, because this little window of tempo right here, where Crowny could have potentially walked up or based, Rekklles is obviously crashing in this wave, and Baus had a tempo window with that proxy. Could have meant LR could get all grubs if they really wanted to put their mind to it in about a minute's time, but that's going to be denied, and Velia's on the bottom side of the map, as those grubs do go over. So all three picked up by Nord. I think that's going to feel quite nice, more so denying it from LR, because they have such strong side lane potential with the Jax and with the Ahri. Split pushing and trying to lock those guys down. Be a bit of a farce, right? A bit of a nuisance, especially you have to remember Nord's composition is a lot more about disengaging than it is locking down targets proactively.
Oh, speaking of those, Varo about to get collapsed on from multiple angles. Flash for the counter-strike. Won't get a headshot though, it's the wrong game. All the while, Valley goes looking for the Spectral Ball, can't quite find it now. Hido trying to find an angle, retreats onto Rekklles. Crowny gonna get the barrier, Bird Root trying to get some damage back as the Howling Gale comes across. No one going too far as yet, that's the barrier, and a couple summoners blown. They can't find the all-in necessarily they were looking for.
Yeah, still an uptrade at the end of the day for the side of LR getting that barrier out, so they'll feel alright about that. Though I will say, generally, I feel like Hido... I feel like this lane is technically harder, almost, than the last lane. Still staying within relative distance in terms of gold and CS, and I would expect on this base he is able to just about complete the Yuntao as Crowny is coming out base with his Kraken Slayer.
See what they can make happen with that one again. Remember last game we saw leads like this that all fell apart, and then Crowny just kept finding farm, and they came through to the mid game about the 15-minute mark, and things had all gone wrong for Nord out of nowhere. The early lead is here, but they need to keep getting value. Good Rupture lands into the Hail of Blades. Procs, Counter-Strike comes on down. Velia looking to potentially find an angle here, but Yanko's also around. Can look to try and turn this out. There's the Rupture. Can maybe look at Baus. Gets the Audacious Charge with the Wind becomes Lightning. Does land. 3 Talon Strikers available, but has to wait for the Counter-Strike to come and stop being active. Can't get the knock-up onto Baus. Chachi's still here, and Baus significantly lower than the big old robot dinosaur thing, whatever he is in this
It's the
particular
toy
skin line. Yeah, it is, but like, what is this a toy of?
A dinosaur.
Yeah, but how many dinosaurs do you know with giant like robot arms?
He's a T-Rex.
How big? Okay,
He's a T-Rex with big.
When does a T-Rex have arms like that?
That's the gag. That's the gag. He's
okay. Well, that's the gag. It's just death. Okay, how's that for a joke? You're laughing now?
I'm very convinced that the gag of this skin is that he's actually got long arms, unlike a real T-Rex, okay? And well done, Chachi, for getting that solo kill. That should be a pretty decent chunk of gold, as he should be able to pick up some place. Remember, they've got 3 grubs too. I will talk about this game seriously. You will not railroad me elsewhere.
No, I'm going to drag you into bickering some more at some point. This is far too entertaining.
All right, Dragon's up.
Yeah, that's quite important, that.
Do actually have numbers here. Baus did just teleport to the top side. Chachi is also walking top. Like you're saying, Zviru is just dead. Oh, on tree.
So, we'll get over the wall. Velia now potentially danger, but over comes Nemesis. Oh boy, lost for Toads. Now gonna jump onto Yanko's gonna get a heal. We'll try to Audacious Charge for the Monsoon. Keep flying. Rekklles alive. Velia over the wall with the Spectral Ball. Another reset. Just about missing the charm, and Hido will get out alive, but they lose 2 members, and that'll be the Dragon as well for Lost Ratones.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I completely missed how Zviru ended up getting caught out and how Velia snuck into the Nord jungle. Perhaps a replay if we have some downtime, but it will be the second Dragon secured here by LR, and very happy about that. Unlike the last game where they were able to pick up the first Dragon but denied the second, they get the first 2 here. It will only be a Cloud. Not a particularly offensive or like stat-bearing dragon to really help over the top snowball like a Hex Dragon as you just walk into him. I think that's it. He just throws down the mist.
There. Yeah, just walks at him.
I mean, fair enough. Tell Zviru was looking for an angle for a wall. But he is cut off by Velia, so good stuff by Lost Ratones jungler, who is now under a little bit of pressure himself.
Yeah, Yanko's going from the other angle. Oh, and there's no flash, no ult. This might just be a very, very dead Viego. Picked up, they tried to donate it over to someone, not named Yankos, but it will start to go on down. Tried to get the Rupture angle there, didn't quite get it. Baus holds the nerve. Gets to walk away from that one, but it's still a 2-0 Cho'Gath, who's got 6 stacks already. It's a lot of feasting that's been done so far this game. Toy, not T-Rex or not. Trees potentially in danger here. Loses about 20% of his HP as Crowny and Rekkless go looking at him, and that's actually Flash Blame.
Yeah, but it is. The worst there. And like with Herald coming up in a minute's time, that's why we saw the pressure onto Velia. And speaking of pressure, House was about to almost eat a gank. Zverev thinks twice of it though, wants to go and catch that mid wave. What little of it he can. They did see Nemesis walk over this ward, so they know he's pathing down towards his bottom side to hover for this roam.
Good ward to spot him out. Yeah,
numbers advantage very temporarily though, LR, as Spyro has to rotate from the mid lane.
TP angle from Chachi as well if they want to come join. Has gone back to base. No one's gotten that first turret yet, and no one's claimed the first set of objectives, so a few things to play for in terms of feats of warfare. Nemesis and Velia decide against full sending it there, and Jankos gets to take his red buff without any contest.
Yep. Zverev missed a bit of a wave, now Nemesis misses a bit of a wave for the roam, but you can see all of the posturing going on over the side lanes. That is what we were talking about in general, how it will be about first move from mid laners and the amount of volatility that can certainly be present in these bottom top matchups. Chachi is very gently going to try to face check. Of course, this is not going to be the worst poke in the world to eat because you can eventually
scream
go
at
back
people
to the wave and
really loudly.
Some of the health back. Is eating a lot of damage now though.
Wow. Yeah,
but again, look at the picture-in-picture.
Still does a lot of work, and you're right, the picture-in-picture is exactly there. Jankos is on that Herald, very happily starting that one up. He's going to back away from this turret. Realistically means the Lost Returns will get that turret, and that will be the marker towards the feats of strength there, as Chachi's not really going to contest it all the other while, though. It's going to be the Kai'Sa that gets that first turret, and Heido can't quite rush it fast, even with the 3 grubs. Will therefore choose to deny a few more minions.
Well, not quite able to get that. Would have been nice to just secure the feats. Feat of Destruction, I think the tower one is, isn't it?
I forget what they're all because I know it's like Martial Mastery for kills.
Yeah,
and I could never remember what the objectives are.
It's like monster slaying for objectives.
I can see it.
And I want to say it's just Feat of Destruction.
A
wiki search would just clarify this, but we're going to go with that for now.
You know what? I believe you. If it's proven to be wrong, I'm going to be mildly annoyed. That's the most it's going to really bother me. I'm not going to lie. So I'll sigh slightly loudly. All the while, Baus going to get towards this tier 1 on the top side, and again, Lost Returns at this point in the game do begin to take off as their macro and their side laning becomes more and more dangerous. That's the majority of that turret just gone in half a wave. Nash is 2 secured. Baus might end up in a lot of danger here. When becomes lightning, Jankos not going over the wall. Now they'll jump on top of him, trying to get the counter-strike off. Won't find it. Now hops over. And Chachi's ready to flash and follow. A feast is available. And they're going to donate it to Jankos instead. He didn't have a second to waste, and therefore Chachi won't be donated the extra stack, and instead it goes to Jankos.
Yeah, you could see on the HUD, Chachi did have that feast coming up, but Baus had flash, so if he flashes over the wall, then it's like, well, now Jankos has to flash, and it gets a little ugly, and you want Jankos having flash for this dragon fight in 40 seconds time. LR are the ones with setup around this objective, but NORD do have a lot of members who can very happily face check and disengage if need to be. But it is still a very dangerous game to be playing. Chickens will be secured.
Nice and roasted.
So that feels alright.
And worth clarifying that it was a bit of a contest. When becomes like, to Crowny! Crowny got after! Has forced Crowny to flash away. Howling Gale disengages for now, but Crowny down that key flash could be a big deal. Midwave is good. Treat also chunked out. Spectral Maw just shy. Chachi's in the bush though, looking to bounce onto Baus, who has a rough all time as the Hail of Blades chunk comes on through.
Yeah, that chunk's actually quite impactful, because if you can keep Baus underneath this tower up here on the top side chunked out, then he's always going to be able to teleport with just health advantage, right? And Baus is never going to have that option!
Treats goes in with the headbutt pole. They will get the turret. They won't find too much more. The teleport in though! It kind of sucks, Nemesis. Fortunately,
no, look at Baus's TP.
Get the kill.
He's not the only one.
Oh no, it's just sucking some more. Gets rooted up the shove afterwards with the seismic shove. It's a disaster on the Richter scale. And Crowny and Rekkless get out alive, but Lost Return solo leaders lose their minds.
To quote a legend, those TPs suck! And Velia's gonna have to use the Heartbreaker to not die himself, so a little bit of chaining going on from LR, just to be a little bit candid.
No less.
In mid, no less. And NORD are going to be able to pick up this dragon too, so they're going to stop the stacking. And life is going to feel quite nice now, as this gold lead is going to be extended out a little bit. Chachi doesn't want any more out of that tower. Why? Because he sees a bigger prize in this dragon. He needs the permanent stack. And he's going to be delivered that, no doubt, here by Jankos. Crani will pick up this tower on the top side in trade. So things are swinging back and forth like a pendulum. Gold is being traded. I think for LR, already being 2 dragons up, a little bit extra cash in Crowley's back pocket is going to feel quite nice.
9 stack for Chachi. Already picked up all of his minion stacks early on. Was at 8 already. Having picked up a grub and a champion kill, I think, with Feast before that. So getting the dragon on top of that. Just get more and more and more stacks. Now going to back. Has actually got Symbiotic Souls himself to try and match Baus, actually. And I don't think with this build from Baus, he's ever really going to have a very easy time at the Cho'Gath, especially if he mistimes his Counter-Strike.
Exactly, that Counter-Strike timing is going to be really important. Speaking of...
Grandmasters might TP behind. Where do you run, Baus? Audacious Charge comes on forward. Something really being taken elsewhere. Ironically, it's Velia split pushing going on right now as Varro is here, throwing out some rocks. You can't counter-strike those. Hop number 1, but does so across the Unraveled Earth. Missing the seismic shove, but it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Hido, I don't think you can walk that way. Does manage to avoid the Void Seeker and the Howling Gale. And Atakan now being started on spawn. Nemesis. Threat does get to run away. Is in the banana bush. Maybe forced to try and back out. Interrupts the Audacious Charge. Hit by the wind becomes lightning. But it's only a mild static shock in terms of damage.
I mean, they know that Baus doesn't have TP. I'm quite surprised about the apprehension of starting up the Archon quickly. Maybe they were concerned about Hido connecting through mid onto the plate. And because Jankos face checked Nemesis, he's a little bit chunked. So I'll be a bit more worried now because Baus is going to spawn in 3 seconds and he could certainly run his way there and make it. They're going to give up this mid wave. Hido's actually, no, Hido's not going to give up the mid wave, so he's going to be there. He's going to be late to this if things kick off. Remember though, it's Feast and Smite against just 1 Smite.
They lost the Atacon in the last game, turned into a bit of an intercart. They can still Feast Smite. This should be a done deal. Looking for an angle in his Velia, but there's a secure on the Atacon. The Lost Returns want the fight afterwards though. Maybe more of a question we should be asking. Nothing to be found, you're absolutely right, and they just get to back away. Happy with the Atacon, they pick up a load more petals. Doesn't look like they actually have all that many as yet. Production, can we just hover over a NORD member just to see what the petal count is at? 14 currently for Lost Returns. Be good to need to see 14, exactly how big the garden grows.
I'd imagine it's somewhere in the kind of low 30 department.
That would make some sense. Not actually that high, only 19. I clearly didn't have that many in inventory. Still gives them about, depending on how many they were starting with, about 2k worth of extra stats. I think it's something like 1,000 gold worth of stats for every 10 petals, roughly, if I remember my maths correctly. But don't take that purely as gospel.
Yeah. Archon, you know, whilst we have a bit of downtime, I've been doing some League philosophy lately.
Okay.
In my spare time. And one of the things
the
that
Plato of League over here, I see.
Yeah, something like that, except I'm not bald and certainly a lot less wise.
Or Greek. Yeah, you are.
Or Greek, yeah. Well, there's a Greek word I know, but I don't think I'll say it on this broadcast. And I just feel like Archon...
somewhere.
I just feel like the Archon as an objective, Chachi's going to sidestep a face check, is just a little bit too... It makes games too volatile. And I think obviously you've seen the debate over the last couple of days and kind of week and a half or so about game being air quotes too balanced. I feel like this is one of the small areas where I would say, nah, like Archon does so much for the game and so much of it you can't actually see, right? You only really see the AoE on the kills, but I just feel like in games where you get a whole bunch of petals, like you're saying, the amount of stats that you get that are just unseen, not accounted for in the gold, is really, really impactful. A lot of the time. It's kind of akin to when we used to speak about Ornions and how much gold value they used to get. Those petals kind of just do a similar thing, but just in raw damage.
I mean, that's like if you want an example, look at the XP leads. Remember, those petals give you Adaptive Force and XP, and you've got some very scary leads, particularly top lane. Baus is 2 levels down on this Cho'Gath. That is a big deal.
Exactly, and especially when you think about champions that are particularly level bound as well. There aren't any per se in this game.
No Silas or whatever, agreed, yeah.
You know, like, Cho'Gath, he gets bigger once he finishes off this cannon. He should hit 16. No, he's like 99%. But you get the idea. I just feel like it's super powerful. I agree.
Don't know how much they
don't care.
This. There's a hep button, a pulverizing. Nemesis trying to spirit rush away. And he's just got enough gas in the tank to do so. The NOS button, worthy of a Need for Speed game there.
Chachi was just a bit slow. He had to flash forward and silence maybe a frame and a half sooner, and then Nemesis can't press any more buttons, and he gets caught in the chain CC and dies. But they still secure that tower on the bottom side. That gold will still go over, and they are here on this side of the map because the dragon's spawning in 10 seconds time. Baus, it's only 1 minion. How much damage? I was gonna say, how much damage can you really get done with this AP Jax? The answer is not a lot right now. And everyone from NORD is now rotating over. And LR are in the river first, like you say, and they're gonna start this up. Jankos on the other side.
Cone. Nemesis on a flank angle, doesn't have the ult to work with. Could maybe ult, treat, or charm this Cho'Gath, but I don't know how much that means.
Crowny.
Weaver's Wall gonna force Crowny to flash on out. That was not a fun place for that Kai'Sa to be. Baus looking for a potential flank angle. Dragon secured that second for NORD. Baus now being looked at. He's a pretty mobile character with all of this ability haste, but Chachi, oh Chachi. The dinosaur keeps walking on forwards.
Can't quite get it.
But he can't quite get it, you're right.
Nash now, 30 seconds. That's the next point of contention. Everyone in the game is at 2 items. Very, very powerful. Crowny, however, I think is kind of the front runner to likely hit 3.
Farming very well again. But look, he's 270 farm in 24 minutes. Clearly allowing his solo laners to kind of dip a bit of farm towards him. I think Velia's probably given up a Raptor camp or two. Either way, great farm rate. What's got to be, what, 11, 12 CS a minute, something like that? Very, very fast indeed. And that's going to get him, as you said, likely towards a terminus pretty damn quick.
Crowny's doing a Reckless, or I guess technically the term would be Uzi. Uzi was, of course, the one that popularized the massive amount of resource hoarding.
Yeah.
In the ADC
Is he
role.
playing the Uzi skin? I didn't actually see.
No,
he's not. It's the IG straight Jackie Love's one.
Yeah, Jackie.
Ironically, you know, Jackie Love is currently playing Uzi skin and not his own.
Yeah. He is, isn't he? He's Jackie Love's an interesting one. We won't talk about him too much. This isn't the LPL broadcast.
Yeah, I know.
I do miss it. But
One
I'm
of
at the
these
very least
days.
happy to see he's a bit more mature in his gameplay.
Gotta hope. After all these years, speaking of mature, Baron has in fact just grown up enough for NORD to potentially think about culling it. The Wild Lost returns coming on over. Teleport in.
From Chachi. Again, they can secure it really early.
Nemesis, flank angle, gets the charm onto the backline. Jankos down about 20% HP. Tweet trying to buy time, but the Baron secured. 5v4 angle though. Nemesis looking for the charm. It's onto that Cho'Gath though. Not necessarily the easiest target, but Crowny gets to
he's
unleash,
dead.
cycle through the passive. Bounce on the other side. Big stun with the counter strike. Can they turn back onto him? Crowny on him with the killer instinct. Jankos at the front lane gets the crashing guard. Needs to keep retreating away, but there is still an ult from the ruined king who causes heartbreak. Flash on forward with the wind becomes lightning audacious charge. Feather fall. Seismic shove away. Trying to ult forward for more. Zvyro can't find the angle.
Zvyro can't see him.
It's always there to can't flash away. As the Void Seeker lands, but has a shield from the Seraphs and gets out, I think, just about to safety. 3 dead, but Baron secured.
That shove back grazed his bottom on the way out. Let's see the
didn't it?
secure. I mean, it's very, very simple sugar for NORD. You've got the feathers, you've got Feast, you've got Smite. Treats does a great job of just zoning away everyone so that they can't get in range of the pit, but then it becomes about the chase down, and Nemesis is already on an angle. The charm secures Chachi's fate, and then it's about whether or not they can actually wrap all the way around. And Baus already had the MO very early, as now in the picture-in-picture, and now full screen, Baus is the one that's getting caught out.
Speaking of MOs, this is the Baus MO. Gets the double counter strike, gets to hop away. Surely he doesn't get to run away from this. He's not got flash, got ult in a second.
Oh,
Can maybe
TP
turn
as
on the
well, TP.
behind. He can look to counter strike, headbutt into the wall, stuns up for a second. Zvyro should be able to get this nonetheless. It's Treats who gets it now. Nemesis in the 1v2 needs to be wary as the unraveled
Alara
earth
kinda
comes
here
on down.
first.
It's
close though.
Jankos also around. The Howling Gale denies the Cho'Gath angle. Nemesis will just decide to use the charm to secure the cannon minion. My goat, that's the correct decision. Get what gold you can and get out before the going gets tougher. Minute and a half until Dragon. NORD still got a little bit of Baron to work with. It's a negative Baron power play right now, but they can still try and use it to get some structures here nonetheless.
Yep, they can. A lot of that negative power play just comes from that chase down in the initial play. We also lost that mid tier 1, but it was about a third HP, so not too surprising that it ended up falling. Treats, again, just doing his best to create a little bit of space.
Makes his well unbreakable, his body. Maybe a different question for now. Ult out from Velia there, couldn't find what he was looking for.
It's not the most impactful Baron. As NORD are going to look to take a reset, and with 40 seconds left, the likelihood that they find impact anywhere is quite low. King did go up onto that topside tower, or the wave, but I think they just want somebody maybe on the assignment, maybe Zvyro. with his teleport. Because if Baus starts to push up on this topside tower, gets a lot of freedom to either roam down, stay for the 700 gold, kind of do whatever he wants. I wonder how threatened LR really are about this Cloud Soul, though. Both teams have 2 dragons apiece.
Ironically, the Cloud Soul is probably better on LR, right? Like, after an Ahri ult, after a Kai'Sa ult, after a Jax ult, with this kind of build, that move speed, hyper valuable. A lot more conditional for Nord, but as far as health, also looking a little bit conditional. Laney in critical condition. He's got the Harrow path coming around, he's going to have to ult out.
But he still has TP, remember?
Chachi. You're in a 1v3, does he care? Crown is going to ult to the other side. My god,
Velia
the anti-tank damage. Charm goes well wide. Now turning around onto Velia, who's potentially in danger, gets knocked out by the 3 Talon Strike. Monsoon healing, but the Rupture comes on down and Hido gets that one. Flash on Forge, a silence on the Ahri. They'll lose the Talia. Crowny gets that one, but it's still a 2-for-1 in favor of Nord.
Didn't flash forward and silence earlier on that bomb play, but he certainly made sure to do it to Nemesis then, as now the 1v1 between the AD carries.
Has to flash away, it ain't a 1v1 for long. Rekkless behind, so is Jankos. They have their seconds there in this particular duel to the death. Fortunately, I think it's only the first blood for now. Baus in danger with Chachi, he's very speedy. Sped up by those double Cloud Dragons. The Rupture. Rocket belted away from. A little bit more mobility in the kit there from Baus with this build. Dragon spawned, Nord on it.
Cheekily want to highlight, because I don't think... I mean, maybe Rekkless and Crowny tried to play some kind of disruption here on this dragon. There is a teleport coming in from Baus, so it seems like they want to play it. Nemesis doesn't have TP himself. There's a TP coming in from Chachi. This is just more than secured, yeah.
Okay.
I wonder if Chachi, once the scoreboard comes back up, you'll notice that Chachi also has the... I'm remembering that the upgrade is Forever Forward, but I can't actually remember... Symbiotic Souls, that's it.
Yes, it is.
They both have the boots. I wonder if Chachi's gone those boots, so that in moments where Baus is walking away and then gets the out of combat movement speed, he gets the out of combat movement speed too.
I mentioned it earlier, thinking it was just to match him in the side lane, to be there at the same time as. But honestly, in these big extended chase downs, now with 3 Cloud Dragons behind, I think you genuinely have a point.
I think that might be the angle. I mean, of course, they also did end up proxying a lot in the early stages. And, when you end up proxying and maybe you feel like in a game like this, you know, there's not necessarily the... I mean, there's definitely Tabby's value, right? Merc Tread value is kind of iffy-ish.
CC from lots of toes is quite limited, yeah.
It's like, it's there, and you are most likely to get hit by it, as the big body that Cho'Gath is, but yeah, it's just very interesting boot choice I wanted to highlight there. The Baron's going to spawn in 45 seconds time, and it's Nord right now with the setup around it. LR a little bit more interested in trying to secure away maybe a little bit of vision and rotation coverage for Baus, but I would anticipate he actually makes a move up towards this Baron as well, so LR can contest in full.
Fight over the mid lane wave. Crowny's just hit his 4th item. He's got a GA and a turn. It's going to be such a nightmare to kill. Only 3 right now for Hido. Chachi gets jumped on. Baus, though, hit by the Rupture. Misread. Monsu trying to keep him alive. Gets the heal as well. Courtesy of Rekkless. Redemption in infantry, by the way, for that Janna. Try and keep people topped up. They won't quite kill him off.
Hido crucially got hit by the charm, so it prevented him from right-clicking, it prevented him from bringing in the Feather Caller, and maybe rooting in Baus, so great aim there from Nemesis. As a flash, disengaged. Really good reactions from Nemi. He will now step off, but the Baron is up and available. That flash being down for trees will definitely limit him, but maybe he can find an angle on the flash, on the Hex Flash rather. As now again, Big Purple Worm is up and available, and both these teams will not want to let either of them get their hands on it.
And the gold lead has just shrunk away for Nord. It's now basically only 1,000 gold and 32 minutes in the game. How much does it mean? Treats are going to get onto Nemesis. Charmed mid headbutt. Wonderful reactions there. And Treat immediately ults in response. So ult for ult, but that means the Ahri down ult at least for a little while.
Yeah, the reset value obviously going to not be present for Nemesis, but I also feel like the Unbreakable Will is such an important tool for Treats to just buy the amount of space he's been buying, right? So it seems like Nord very happy to step off and just let those cooldowns recoup. Red buff will not be stolen away by Velia.
Nice idea, though. Worth noting, Velia again gone towards the crit build on the Viego, which we sort of see the collector into Immortal Shield Bow. He's got that 50% crit. It does stack with your ultimate. Has got that Noon Quiver in infantry, so those ults, if he lands them onto squishy people, will sting.
That they will. I think people have finally caught on to this Viego build, and I actually think he's a lot stronger than people let to lead on. Of course, there is just kind of the nuance of you need to be able to get first kill. If you start to
Do you get the
behind,
kill?
your game
Yes
is
or
really
no?
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there is a lot of that, and I feel like all of the other skirmishes in the meta right now just have a higher baseline of effectiveness. But when it comes to, you know, early game playmaking, yeah, ooh, Velia might be in trouble here. Not going to be able to get any more autos off Hido. I think he maybe had the Q on CD, so he couldn't get the immediate route.
That's the thing with this build,
Mouse
of
has
course, you're
jumped
very
in.
squishy. He has. He's quite fast, though. He's got a rocket belt.
Rocket belt.
Locking down this AP Jax with the rocket belt, with the phase rush, with just the amount of ability haste to keep on hopping to various locations. Makes him a bit of a nightmare. Unless you land the silence. Velia in this harrowed path. Still down a bit of CS here. Going to pick up this Scuttle Crab and is secured. River right now very much in Nord's favour. Fast Eye Alteration swiftly claimed up by Hido. A little bit of a knock up there onto Zvaro. Baus on the flank angle. Nemesis over the wall, misses the charm. Baus looking for the counter strike, won't quite find it. He's silenced up. Now going to get knocked up, and he's dead!
Just the strangest sense of deja vu, but I think it's just because Baus does that a lot. He is dead.
He does
no
a bit.
trade. LR, I mean, there's not really anything for them to get, and Nord, I mean, surely the answer is you start Baron or you look towards Dragon. I think they're going to do the former first. They've got plenty of time to burst this down. Hell, maybe even reset and then go back to Dragon. Treats is going to get his reset off now. He maybe wants some wards in his inventory, and they'll look towards picking up this Cloud Soul too. Baus will be up with TP. Nemesis is waiting in this fog of war, and it is quite dark on this side of the map actually for Nord.
Yeah, it is.
We'll be face checking into complete blindness, but at the end of the day, I don't think they care, and that vision ward is just going to give them enough of a context clue to if Velia's backing out whilst doing those chickens, the likelihood anyone else is near is quite low.
Yeah, and again, Jankos now with the G8, Treats with the Altar, Chachi with 12 stacks. I shudder to think how much HP this Cho'Gath has right now. Dragon being started, TP in from Baus. We're kind of inverting sides of the map we're stood on.
Nemesis and Baus are on flanks. I think they would have seen him with the TP actually. He would have flown past
well
them. So
done.
they know where Baus is and they know where Nemesis is. The Dragon!
Another Earth secured by the Cho'Gath, somehow, some way. Treats in the front line, has got the ult, so doesn't take all that much damage. Crowny needs to get out to say had to flash. Nemesis looking for the charm, can't find it. The Weaver's Wall, splitting off Baus's retreat path. Rupture on forwards, into the seismic shot, flashes over the wall. Another hop, where is he going? All the while, of course, Baus not being in the lane means they could have shoved through mid with the Baron.
Yeah, they've got Nash. They want to make use of that base breaking power that it's got, and they've got a minute and 50 seconds still left on this buff. They've got half a wave in the top side if they want to try and rotate over to it, but it seems like their eyes are set on this mid lane tier 3.
Jankos warding off Velia's potential flank angle. Got Cloud Soul now as well to work with. LR, we were already saying their engage is a little conditional. I think it's the kind way of putting it. You need to land a good charm, a good spectral maul, maybe a good flank angle from Baus, but with all of this extra move speed, just base from 4 Cloud Dragons, finding that moment, getting harder and harder and harder, and for all the gold was close, it ain't anymore again. Nord really expanding it, picking up another set of structures, and they find themselves commandingly in position to win this game.
They do. 6k gold lead, I will say still 37 minutes. About to be crested very soon. One team fight can make all the difference this late on, so certainly won't rule out Los Ratones. But the odds for this game do seem very stacked against them for the time being. Mid lane inhibitor broken. Nord are all overloading into this bottom side. They've sent all 5 bot. LR have got the opposite idea, and maybe I think what they're looking for is potentially to try and catch someone as they receive this top wave, but no one is on the top side of the map right now.
No.
Everyone from Nord is bot, so this will just be the tier 2 pretty much seeded, and this goes down so fast that the Nash is still going to be available for, at the very least, this wave to try and break open the base on the bottom side of the map here. I mean, it's just Crowny versus the entire rest of...
Yeah. Reset,
it's a head scratcher.
Inhibitor for it. They at least get the bounty. Does that get him an extra item on reset? We'll check now when he comes back in. Or while the Weaver's Wall to 9 Crowny entrance. It does get him the Bloodthirster, so it was for the extra item. Does that matter in the grand scheme of things? He needs to get value here as one Nexus turret already falling. Los Ratones on the verge of taking us to game 3, courtesy of Nord winning this one. Could have switched that one around. Seismic shove on Baus. He's down. Monsoon means nothing. Headbutt back on Nemesis, who gets feasted but doesn't die. Tree to the front line. Valia trying to run back towards the fountain, the Nexus turret. Between Nord and a third game. LR in upper brackets. Oh, flash off forward. Feather to the skull and Nemesis goes down. We are getting 3. And Nord strike back.
An excellent game from